Hello friends, how are you? Today in this video, you are going to learn the last chapter from the non-detailed text of class 7, An Alien Hand. The chapter's name is An Alien Hand. What do you mean by alien? Alien means a foreigner. Here, a hypothetical or fictional being from another world. Have you heard of the Viking mission to Mars? The National Aeronautics and Space Administration's, NASA, Viking mission to Mars was composed of two spacecraft, Viking 1 and Viking 2, each consisting of an orbiter and a lander. The primary objectives were to obtain images and samples of the Martian surface and soil and search for any possible signs of life. Viking 1 was launched on 20th August 1975 and arrived at Mars on 19 June 1976. Viking 2 was launched on 9 September 1975 and entered Mars orbit on 7th August 1976. Besides taking photographs and collecting other science data on the Martian surface, the two landers conducted 3 biology experiments to look for possible signs of life. As of now, there is no clear evidence of the presence of living microorganisms in the soil near the landing site. Dear friends, have you heard of the Viking mission to Mars? NASA's Viking project found place in history when it became the first US mission to land a spacecraft safely on the surface of Mars and return images of the surface. Two identical spacecraft, each consisting of a lander and an orbiter, were built. Each orbiter-lander pair flew together and entered Mars orbit. The landers then separated and descended to the planet's surface. The Viking 1 launched on 20th August 1975 and arrived at Mars on 19 June 1976. Viking 2 was launched on 9th September 1975 and entered Mars orbit on 7th August 1976. Besides taking photographs and collecting other science data on the Martian surface, the two landers conducted 3 biology experiments designed to look for possible signs of life. These experiments discovered unexpected and enigmatic chemical activity in the Martian soil, but provided no clear evidence for the presence of living microorganisms in soil near the landing sites. According to scientists, Mars is self-sterilizing. They believe the combination of solar ultraviolet radiation that saturates the surface, the extreme dryness of the soil, and the oxidizing nature of the soil chemistry prevent the formation of living organisms in the Martian soil. Now, let's read the story. The story is written by Jayant Narlikar. Tilu, how often have you been told not to go that way? But why does Daddy go there every day? Because that's his job, Tilu. That way was an underground passage. Tilu's father went every day for work along that passage, and every day he came back from that direction. What lay at the end of that forbidden route? Not only Tilu, but a great majority of the community would have liked to know. Tilu's father was one of the select few permitted to go that way. The above conversation invariably took place between Tilu and his mother whenever he insisted on following his father. Today, however, was different. Tilu's father was enjoying a siesta. Siesta means a short sleep at home, and Tilu managed to get hold of his security card. Then evading, that means to escape, evade means to escape. To escape his watchful mother's eye, Tilu made his way to the forbidden passage. A metal door barred his entry, but Tilu had watched his father slip the magic card into a slot. He did the same, and the door opened noiselessly. A well-lit passage seemed to beckon to seem attractive and inviting. Snatching the card which had come out of another slot in the wall, Tilu started his march along a gentle upward slope for the passage led from the underground habitat to the surface of the planet. In this story, the author says Tilu the boy and his parents live on Mars. However, they do not live on the surface of the planet. They live beneath the surface under artificial conditions. Only some very skilled person in special suits can go on the surface. They go with a reservoir of oxygen for important work. Tilu's father is one of them. He goes to work through a secret passage. Tilu has always been anxious to go through the passage. However, he has been never allowed. One day Tilu gets a chance. He gets hold of his father's security card. Quietly, he makes his way to the forbidden passage. He slips his father's magic card into a slot. The door to the passage opens. Then what happened? Let's see. Tilu looked forward to seeing the sun if it was daytime, or the stars if it was night, about which he had heard and read so much. But alas, that wasn't to be. Tilu had underestimated the security arrangements. Invisible mechanical devices had already detected and photographed the small intruder, sent his picture to the Central Bureau where it was thoroughly checked. And before he had advanced 10 paces, a strong hand fell heavily off his shoulder. Gently but firmly, he was escorted means taken or led security staff back home to an anxious and angry mother. While he was being scolded, he received help from an unexpected quarter. See here, Tilu now looks forward to seeing the sun or the stars. He has never seen them before, but that was not to be. He moves hardly 10 steps when the security staff gets hold of him. He is sent back to his mother. "Let me explain to him, darling," said his father, who had just got up. "If he is properly briefed, he will not do such a thing again." He started to explain. "Listen, Tilu, I work on a surface where an ordinary person cannot survive because the air is too thin to breathe and where the temperature is so low that you would freeze to death. But Daddy, how do you manage to survive?" "Because I go well equipped. In a special suit with a reservoir of oxygen, I can keep warm, and my boots are specially designed to make it easy for me to walk on the surface. What's more, I have been trained to survive and work on the surface." Here Tilu's father decides to brief him properly. He tells Tilu that he cannot survive on the surface. The air is too thin and the temperature is too low there. So he advised not to try again to reach the surface of the planet. Tilu wanted to know how did his father manage to survive. He answered he was well equipped. He wore a special suit with a reservoir of oxygen. He can keep warm and his boots were specially designed to make it easy for him to walk on the earth, and moreover, he has been trained to survive and work on the surface. There was a time when our forefathers lived on the surface quite naturally. Indeed, they did so for millions of years, but times changed. The very sun which had provided us with sustenance. Sustenance means of support, maintenance, the act of sustaining, the state of being sustained, supplying or being supplied with the necessaries of life, etc. Turned hostile. Hostile means showing or feeling opposition or dislike, unfriendly. It changed only slightly, but the change was sufficient to upset the balance of nature on his planet. First, the birds became extinct. The animals followed. The fish couldn't bear it anymore either. We managed to survive only because of our superior technology. But we were forced to live underground under artificial conditions. Thanks to solar energy, we can generate sufficient power to make our life comfortable. But the machines which make this possible must always be in good working condition. Some of them are on the surface. I belong to the team whose responsibility it is to keep watch on them and to service them. "Daddy, can I join the team when I grow up?" Of course, if you want to, said his father, but for that you must be a good boy and do as your parents tell you. His mother had, as usual, the last word. Here Tillu's father tells him that once upon a time their forefathers lived on the surface, but times changed. A slight change in the sun upset the balance of nature on the planet. First the birds became extinct. The animals followed. The fish also died. Human beings survived because of their superior technology. They used solar energy. Some of these machines which produce solar energy are on the surface. Tillu's father belongs to a special group. It is this group's responsibility to look after these machines. He assured Tillu that he could also join the team when he grew up. His mother, however, warned him that it was possible only if he obeyed his parents. Next day, when Tillu's father went to work, he found the control room full of excitement. People were crowded round the big TV screen. It showed a dot in an otherwise clear background. It isn't a star, for it's changing its position. Our computer has given a trajectory. Trajectory means the path followed by a projectile flying or an object moving under the action of given forces. Trajectory for this thing, it's a heading towards us. The supervisor of the last shift explained. A spacecraft? Tillu's father asked. By now he was joined by his teammates on the new shift. So we think, but it needs watching. A spacecraft? Where from? The solar system wasn't known to have any life anywhere else except on their planet. Tillu's father recalled the ancient days recorded in the archive at the Central Bureau when their ancestors had a well-developed space program and had searched the solar system with manned and unmanned spacecraft and found that they were indeed alone. Now, in the days of energy shortage and underground life, they had no space program. They could only watch impotently from their vantage point. Impotent means unable to take effective action, helpless or powerless. What is the meaning of vantage? Vantage means a place or position affording a good view of something. Who were these strangers? The conference room in the Central Bureau was so quiet that an outsider would have thought it was empty. Far from it. It was full to capacity, but the members of the Central Committee were unusually quiet. They knew that the president was going to make a momentous announcement. Momentous means of great consequence or outstanding in importance. Anyway, next day when Tillu's father went to work, he found the control room full of excitement. It was so because they had seen 2 spacecrafts. So far, it had been their belief that they were alone in the solar system. Although the conference room was full to capacity, nobody was speaking a word. They waited for the president to say something. They knew that the president was going to make a momentous announcement. Let's move on to the next paragraph. Colleagues, I'll give you the report as I have it. While I speak, there may be a change in the situation. The president paused to get his papers in order and then continued. 2 spacecraft are approaching us. One is in fact orbiting our planet while the other is still far away. We guess that they are coming from our neighboring planet. How should we react? Number 1, your views please. Number 1 was in charge of defense. He was known for his courage and wisdom. Sir, if we wish, we can totally destroy these spacecraft with our missiles. But that won't make us any wiser. We don't have the capacity to render these craft unoperational in space, but should they land, we can render them ineffective any time we choose. Our reports say that they do not contain living beings, they only have instruments. Number 2, your opinion please, the president asked the scientist on the committee. I recommended non-interference and passive observation since we don't know the power of the senders of these spacecraft and we are still in the dark about their intentions. It is wise not to reveal our existence. If we destroy these spaceships or render them ineffective, we might reveal our existence. The president looked at number 3 as social scientist. He rarely agreed with number 2, but this was one of those rare occasions when he did. I agree with number 2, sir. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that we should keep our surface activities to the minimum, thus creating the impression that there is no life on this planet. Fortunately, our surface conditions do give that impression. Before the president could speak, his personal telephone rang. He lifted the receiver and listened quietly for a minute. Colleagues, he announced, the first spacecraft has landed. See, the president looked at his paper carefully. After a pause, he said that 2 spacecrafts were approaching their planet. While one of the 2 was orbiting the planet, the other was still far away. It was the president's guess that they were from their neighboring planet. Thereupon, he asked the opinion of his colleagues. Together, they had to deal with these spacecrafts. Number 1 was in charge of defense. He told what his reports had revealed. It was that the spacecraft didn't contain any living beings. It had only instruments. He suggested that there was no need to destroy those spacecrafts. After their landing on Mars, they could make them ineffective if they so choose. Number 2 also agreed with number 1. He added that by destroying those spacecrafts, they would be only revealing their existence. Number 3 also agreed with what the other 2 had said. Just then, the president got the message that the first spacecraft had landed. It was a red-letter day in Tillu's life, the day he was waiting for his father had at last taken him to the control room. From here, he could see the alien spacecraft on his TV screen. What a funny-looking thing, Daddy. What does it contain? Tillu asked. His father shook his head. Can't say for sure. We are only allowed to observe it from far, but we control all its parts and can exercise our power if it is up to any mischief. He pointed to an impressive panel with several colored buttons on it. Tillu looked at them wistfully. Wistfully means full of longing. It was a red-letter day in Tillu's life. His father brought him to the control room. From here he could see the alien spacecraft on his TV screen. He looked with great interest at a panel with several colored buttons on it. His father told him that this pane was very important. Through its buttons, they had power to make inert any part of the spacecraft. Look, it's up to something, Daddy. Tillu suddenly noted some movement in the spacecraft. Others in the control room saw it too. All eyes were now glued to the screen. A mechanical hand was emerging from the spacecraft. It was approaching the surface of the planet. It bent and touched the soil. What was it up to? People crowded towards the screen for a closer look. The telescopic lens of the TV camera zoomed into the tip of the mechanical hand. Tillu was staring at the control panel and its attractive buttons. An irresistible desire got hold of him to press the most prominent of all buttons, the red one. He moved. There was a shrill whistle and Tillu found himself the center of attention. His father pulled him away roughly and restored the red button to neutral position, but the damage was done. The mechanical hand from the spacecraft ceased to work. Suddenly, Tillu noted some movement in the spacecraft. All eyes were now glued to the TV screen. A mechanical hand was coming out of the spacecraft. It bent and touched the soil. Everyone in the control room was watching with great interest. Tillu pressed the red button on the panel. There was a shrill whistle. His father pulled him away roughly. Then he restored the red button its earlier position. But the damage was done. The mechanical hand of the spacecraft had ceased work. At a press conference held by NASA, a scientist was briefing the world press. Everything has been going on smoothly with the Viking mission. There is a small hitch. The mechanical hand which was to dig out the Martian soil for examination has developed a malfunction. We don't know the cause, but our technicians are confident they will sort it out. And shortly afterwards, there was another press release from NASA. The mechanical hand is working again thanks to the efforts of our technicians. Soil samples are being collected and examined. Soon we will know the answer to the question whether there is life on Mars. Life on Mars? Of all the planets in our solar system, Mars is nearest the location and physical conditions to our Earth. So the scientists behind the Viking mission were hopeful of finding life on Mars, but they were in for a disappointment. The Viking mission found no signs of life on Mars. All this was happening on the Mars. On the Earth, NASA was holding a press conference. The spacecraft had come from the Earth. NASA had sent it. In the press conference, it was said that everything was well with the spacecraft. Only the mechanical hand had stopped working. They, however, expressed confidence that very soon everything will be set right. Soon after this, another press conference was held. It was informed that the mechanical hand had been reactivated. Soil samples were being collected. These samples would reveal whether there was life on Mars or not. This was the part of Earth's Viking mission. The scientists behind the mission were disappointed. They found no signs of life on Mars. My dear children, we have completed our last lesson from the book An Alien Hand. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let's discuss the questions and answers. What is the first question? How does Tilu manage to find his way to the Forbidden Passage? One day, Tilu's daddy was asleep. The boy picked up daddy's iCard. Then he walked towards the Forbidden Secret Passage. The card helped him open the door and enter the passage. Then next one, what did Tilu hope to see once he emerged from his underground home? Tilu hoped to see the sun or the stars after getting out his underground home. Third one, why did Tilu's father advise him not to try to reach the surface of the planet? Tilu's father told him not to try to go the surface of the planet because he won't be able to breathe in the thin air or withstand the low temperature there. What changes had occurred which forced people to live in underground homes? The changing heat of the sun created conditions that killed all animals and birds. The air became thin and human beings could freeze to death. Why was everyone in the control room greatly excited? Everyone in the control room was greatly excited because they had seen two spacecrafts coming towards their planet. Was the spacecraft manned or unmanned? How do you know it? The spacecraft that landed on the surface was unmanned. It contained only instruments. A mechanical hand tried to collect samples of soil. What did number 1 and number 2 suggest should be done about the alien spacecraft? The number 1 was in charge of defense. He suggested that they should wait till the craft landed on the surface. Then they could easily make it ineffective. Number 2 also suggested that they should wait and watch. It would be unwise to reveal their existence by attacking the spacecraft. What do you think the mechanical hand was trying to do? The mechanical hand that emerged from the alien spacecraft was trying to collect samples of soil from the surface of Mars. The purpose was to study if there was life on it. Tilu passed the red button and the damage was done. What was the damage? Tilu pressed the red button. It is Dad who made it neutral again. But the damage was done. The mechanical hand stopped working. It became inactive. Where had this spacecraft come from? The spacecraft had come from the planet Earth. It was sent by NASA. On which planet do Tilu and his parents live? Tilu and his parents live on a planet with thin air, freezing cold and no animals on surface. That's all for today. Thank you so much. See you again. Till then, bye-bye.